Hi, Jody Hardesty with Empowered Heart Connections. When we are experiencing emotions as children and we get used to kind of shutting down those emotions, if we have maybe either high stress environment or our parents are just not great at teaching us how to communicate, it can be sort of habit forming for us to not even recognize when we're feeling something at all. So we tend to shut down, and this can lead to people pleasing, this can lead to codependence, this can lead to anxiety and depression. And the nice thing about that is that if we learn to really do better self-care and sit with our emotions and really understand how to access and work through our emotions, then we become much more able to decipher the difference between a healthy relationship and an unhealthy relationship when we get to that point. When we're people pleasing or we're codependent or we're not really even recognizing our emotions, we can lose ourselves in relationships and we don't really know where maybe he ends and we begin. So the nice part of this is that if you start to recognize your emotions throughout your life and throughout your days, you can develop kind of a superpower about how to cope with your own emotions, and you can really recognize even more clearly when you experience those red flags or the times when people kind of rub you the wrong way. More accurately, more quickly, it becomes more obvious to you from the very beginning. Because sometimes we're missing that. When we are continually dating the wrong person, when we're continually finding like that we're overlooking the red flags that may be obvious to our family and friends, but we're kind of closing our eyes and not really hearing them or seeing them. And this can be from whenever we are not really adept at experiencing or recognizing our own feelings and emotions. So one way to do this is, it sounds really simple, but it's really actually quite complicated. Many of us get used to kind of trying to avoid our feelings when they come up. So we try to just kind of shut it down or distract ourselves or just make it stop in some way. But the irony is that what we resist persists. So when we are trying to squash our feelings, when we're trying to shut down our emotions, we are actually promoting the likelihood that they're going to keep biting us. As opposed to if we take the time to go, why am I feeling really down today? Why am I feeling super anxious today? What's happening with me? What am I noticing? And if you notice that you're feeling anxious or stressed or just depressed, it's important to be able to allow yourself to sit with those emotions. And I know when we have struggles with emotions, we feel like we're living there all the time, but we're actually usually kind of trying to shift through them or distract ourselves from them. So rather than doing that, to take the time and take a deep breath and just give whatever that thought is some light. Like, okay, I'm thinking right now that I'm really anxious about whatever. I'm anxious about this date I'm going on, or I'm really feeling nervous, like I'm gonna mess up on this date. And give that thought just some light, shine some light on it. Oh, okay, well that's that thought that I'm thinking right now. And without any judgment, without any criticism, just notice that that's that thought. And then go back into what you're feeling in your body. So when you're noticing, when I think that I'm just gonna mess up and this date's gonna go terribly, that I actually feel, I feel tightness in my chest, and I feel maybe my neck is tight, or even my heart might start to race a little bit, or I feel really like crying. Whatever those sensations are, whatever the feelings are that come up, just give those a voice. Give it permission to be there. Give it permission to just sit with those feelings as you would your best friend. Most of us kind of are really hard on ourselves, on our head. We kind of beat ourselves up. Gosh, I can't believe I'm having that thought, or I shouldn't feel this way. But if we're with our friends, we often are more supportive. So this is the time when it's important to treat yourself as you would a friend and really be there for yourself. Like, oh gosh, those are kind of some hard thoughts that I'm having. That's really stressful when I think of those thoughts. And I'm just going to sit and give my body permission to feel this emotion that's happening right now. And I'm going to breathe through it, and I'm going to notice where I feel it in my body, and I'm just going to let it be for a minute. And just sit with that for a minute. And what usually happens is the scary, uncomfortable emotion passes. That's the beauty of doing this, is we avoid so intensely feeling and experiencing our emotions that we forget that if we just allow them to have a little bit of a voice, they often go away, which is really nice. And then we go back to our state of contentment or peacefulness or whatever that normal state of being or typical state of being is. And these emotions are normal. All of these emotions that we experience, we all experience anxiety, we all experience stress, sadness. So if we give ourselves permission to experience them as the normal, natural experiences that they are, the more quickly we are able to work through them and move through our day. And this impacts our relationships, because whenever we are more in tune with ourselves, when we're more in tune with our emotions, we're more connected with what our feelings are, we're able to be present in the moment. We're able to really feel and experience what the good, positive experiences are in the moment. And we're also able to recognize maybe a feeling or need that we have before it comes out sideways, maybe a little passive-aggressively or a little sarcastically, which I've learned over the years is whenever you go, oh, I'm saying something that's a little critical, why am I saying that? And when you work on your emotions, you can recognize, oh, hey, I'm frustrated, or whatever happened hurt my feelings, or I'm struggling to express what I want or my hopes, or I'm feeling ignored or left out, or I need something different. So really exploring what your feelings are, allowing yourself to experience emotions as a loving and supportive person to yourself can help you feel more comfortable and recognize whenever those emotions do come up and help you process them more quickly and more effectively. And like I said, can help you work in relationships much more effectively. They can even improve your communication skills, right? If you're really recognizing what those emotions are when they come up, rather than just being reactive or getting upset and not really knowing why, you can work through problems much more smoothly and much more quickly. But it starts with putting ourselves first, because obviously if we cannot love ourselves, accept ourselves, and be totally good to ourselves, it's really difficult to be a compatible partner to anyone else. So the number one tip here is to put yourself first. Love yourself first. And I know it's easier said than done. It takes practice. I've had to practice it too in my life, that I had no idea what I was feeling for a long time throughout my childhood, and I really had to learn the hard way, like, oh, hey, I'm kind of being reactive, or I'm being sarcastic, or what am I doing that is acting in a way that isn't authentic to how I'm really feeling, because I'm not really aware of what's going on. So it is possible to take this journey and really do some deep exploring of what those emotions are, and it just takes time and practice to sit with those emotions, let them come up, give them permission, don't judge the thoughts, let the thoughts float by like they're on a cloud, and just notice them with loving kindness. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope that you enjoy learning to embrace and accept your own emotions as well.